communicate to you?
I started my career as a hydrogeologist, working for utilities and industrial clients on water supplies and big remediation programs. And remember the days of measuring water levels with a steel tape and chalk. So not wanting to ever repeat that again, I gravitate companies that are at the leading edge or bleeding edge, and I believe Cathium is part of that. Where I sit in the world of water is working primarily with on water strategy and also innovative technology companies, startups, early growth stage companies, mostly digital. I am firmly engaged in moving towards data acquisition and turning it into actionable information. Someone also brought up democratizing. I think the only way the status quo is democratizing access to data and information, not just for utilities, but every stakeholder group, so we can make greater progress in our most precious resource. So that's me, that's from where I came, and really thank you again for including me. I'll just make two quick points. Digital transformation is not optional. So I don't view the water sector as unique. And anyone that believes that they can hold on to analog solutions, they're kidding themselves. So it's going to happen. And it's transformed every other sector. And I don't believe the water sector is really that unique. I mean, there are unique attributes of water shared by, entertainment sector, but, I'll use healthcare. I mean, that's as critical as the water sector, and showing a digital transformation because it has to. So I would start there. I would also say, and I forgot who mentioned it, but look at the digital transformation of these other sectors and how they frame their value proposition, energy being a really good one. And I enthusiastically agree that this is about talent, workforce, people, however. I'll use some of the findings from the technology fallacy that people want to work for a digitally enabled organization, whether it's a utility or industrial sector, whatever it may be. You can attract talent, you can retain talent if you are digital. That's the bottom line. And if you believe that, again, it's optional, you're going to suffer on the people side of the equation. You're going to suffer on, the resiliency side of the equation, whatever it may be. Broadening the value proposition to really embrace the people side as being imperative for me is really, really critical. It's not about technology. It's about people. So as we know, water does not come from the tap. It comes from watersheds. And understanding on a real-time basis, quantity and quality is and often ignored by utilities and the industrial sector. So watershed health in general, the loss of stationarity. So the past is no longer the future, which encompasses really a number of comments that were made before with respect to building a resilient utility in the face of climate change, extreme weather events, but also touches on something that Paul and Nusha said about innovative infrastructure, decentralized, off-grid infrastructure. We're still building last century before infrastructure in the hope that we could do better. So a radical rethink is in order, or a disruptive approach. And then I would also say that ignoring is what Sasha said about access to data and actionable information by civil society. The minute you can determine water quality on a real-time basis, I assure you, it's going to really change the utilities and regulatory agencies. So not factoring in that, you know, stakeholders, your customers, consumers know better than you is going to be problematic going forward. So those are my three.